You know, the world nowadays, it's interesting, especially with all the social media. You know, it used to be you couldn't talk about Israel. You couldn't talk about, Jews in any manner. You didn't even have to be like using slurs or any sort of hate rhetoric. Just to report on them would get you banned, right? Well, now you see it all over
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, over X, over which used to be Twitter. You see it on Instagram. You see it on YouTube. They're just allowing it like crazy, right? The starvation of the people in Gaza, the war, the genocide in Gaza. They did a poll, and it's like most of the fucking world is against Israel right now, and it's like that's a stark change, especially in America, where it's like there used to be so much about it, and now like most people hate Israel now, even in America, and it's like these people have done a whole lot of evil throughout the decades since it's been a thing. I mean, having a part in the events of September 11th with like furthering Oded Yanan Greater Israel Project, talking about the five dancing Israelis that were involved. They were caught celebrating as the towers collapsed, and when they got detained by dual Israeli citizen Michael Chertoff. He when after ten weeks in a failed lie detector test, they finally got sent to Israel. They went on Israeli TV, right? And guess what they said? So they were asked,
Hmm.
what you were doing there? Are you members of Mossad still? It's like this is an exact quote. We come from a nation that experiences terror daily. We were here to document. We were there to document the event. You see what I'm saying? Like what do you mean you went there to document the event? And furthermore,
That's weird.
there was Odigo chat firm, a chat firm based in Israel, had advanced prior, like they had foreknowledge, even a day in advance, right? Larry Silverstein, who is a Jewish Zionist, and often talks about how he's communicating with the Benjamin Netanyahu over there, the prime minister. Um, they got an insurance. He got an insurance policy, you know, on the Twin Towers in case of a terrorist attack, like literally weeks before. He wanted like $4 billion. It just so happens that most of the Jews who was working there weren't working that day. Shit like that. I mean, there's so many other fingerprints on 9/11 that all of this shit's eventually going to really become surfacing in the mainstream of people's minds, but it starts with this catalyst that's making everybody hate Israel is their starvation of the Gazans. You seen what they're doing over there?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Man, they're fucking savages to them people, man. They got them people starved out, looking like little anorexic, like these little kids. They're bombing them and shit. Like they're fucking blown up and shit, like seasoned. They're starving out real
Mm-hmm.
bad, and it's like this is what's got the whole world angry. But they're going to be even more angry when they see all the other connections. And like I was just scratching the surface of the Israeli involvement in 9/11. Not even getting into people like Dov Zakhaim, the Zionists involved with the Defense Policy Board, and all of these other things. But it's going to keep happening, and it's like the world is turning on Israel, and it's like it's about damn time. I mean, you know how I've always been about this shit, but it's like it's finally coming to the
Oh yeah.
surface about this shit. The people are connecting Mossad to Jeffrey Epstein. It's just it's weird though, like the fact that they would never allow these things, right? And then X allows it, and now everybody's allowing things to be said about Israel. Like this will eventually be on YouTube, right? But if I uploaded this video like months ago or over a year ago, it would get flagged for hate speech, but it won't. I guarantee it's not going to, because this is just like where we're at in this stage of the game where a lot of people are talking about Israel. So
Right.
it's just like, is this the time for like, is this where we start to go after the boogeyman? It's like you've allowed these people to do dirty things, and then you got to progress like this and that with the dirty work you did overseas and the wars on terror, And then what are we gonna, you're gonna finally get rid of your stooge? It's like, to add one more segment into this shit that's kind of combined into this. You've heard of Mayer Rothschild, right?
Yeah. Right?
So the the alleged trillionaire family that who's one of their matriarchs said if my sons didn't want war, there'd be no wars, having their fingers and everything. Banks, he's got people, he's got nations in debt to him, right? Like actual nations. But here's the thing, like I was taking a step back, wargaming in my head. It's like, this guy's a boogeyman. Like, when I'm piecing it together with how they're exposing Israel now, all the crimes of Israel, the Zionists, bringing up Chabad Lubavitch, the radical extremist group that has their messianic end times tinge, and allowing these things which they never used to, I've come to this conclusion that they are preparing some sort of event horizon where they're going to be taking these elements down, and they're going to identify these people as the heart of the corruption, and they're going to create a narrative. And I think they're going to say, well, look, this is one of the big bad boogeymen. Mayer Rothschild, the dynasty. And you should look into Lord Rothschild. He passed away, but that dude has like a slight cone head. He's probably one of them fucking hybrids, dude. Like, yeah, you look at pictures of Lord Rothschild, he looks like his head is like, it kind of goes like it's weird. But I do think that he's he's there to be a boogeyman. I started thinking strategically, and I'm like, they're allowing all of this shit to be said because they want to start this narrative up, and they're going to need a catalyst, they're going to need a boogeyman, they're going to need a face for the evil. So they're going to take the face that's been there. You see what you kind of get what I'm saying? And the more that I've looked into the Rothschilds, I don't see anybody that talks about this group. I don't see them saying that. And I think that that's odd. I do think that, because a lot of people, don't understand that, they say Zog this and that, which I would agree to an extent. They don't understand just how much we gain from these things as well. But, wargaming, it's like, the fact that they're allowing these things to be said now, I don't want to repeat myself, but the more that's been coming out, I mean, these clips are getting, these videos, these clips, these red pill clips are getting like, even one of mine got over 15,000 views on X. You see what I'm saying? So, just adding them all up, millions of people have seen this, all of these, seeing these clips about, Israeli baggage, Rothschild this, Rockefeller that, on top of the Gaza shit, when the world is now completely pretty much against Israel, that there's arrest warrants out for Benjamin Netanyahu. It's just like, I used to be on that persuasion that's like, no, Zog has got it in the bag, but now I'm starting to think more and more that it's just time to get rid of a boogeyman. It's time for this domino to fall. It's time for this Jenga piece to be taken out. You see what I'm saying? So I would expect that you will start to see the crimes of Lord Rothschild and the dynasty of Mayer Rothschild being the big boogeyman. Not to say that he doesn't do bad. Obviously he does. And the groups that do this. But I'm just saying this will be the face. Like Epstein's the face of the sex trafficking cabal, right? You're going to see, well, then the banking cabal and a lot of the, geopolitical things, the face is Rothschild. The syndicate Zionist. It's going to tie back to the Soviet Union. Synagogue of Satan, all of this and that. So I see this narrative playing out, and it's like, I cannot see it any other way that they're setting up boogeymen basically to fall.